Today is day 19 of the Karen Read trial. I'm going to give you my daily recap. The train wreck continues. We have Alessi continuing his cross-examination for most of the morning up through lunch of Shannon Burgess. He is the digital forensics expert from Aperture, or he was. He's probably been fired since then, but that was the title that he was holding when he was hired by the Commonwealth. Alessi just kind of reiterates a few things that we went over yesterday, that on direct examination, he was never questioned about his education. They only went over his certifications. And that was essentially because he doesn't have a degree, which I don't think that Alessi really needed to shame this guy so much that he needed a degree to do this job that he has. The point is that the company took this information and misrepresented it on their website and on his LinkedIn page, which he's saying that he did over 10 years ago. We then have Alessi going slide by slide over the presentation that Mr. Burgess had created, and he's just reiterating, okay, this is what you testified to, and it's important for you to get things true and accurate down to the second. And he says, correct. So he's like, okay, this information is true and accurate down to the second. And Mr. Burgess every time answers correct according to the Lexis. What we learn is that, and you can only see this at the bottom of the page down here, I guess, but the Commonwealth has this zoomed all the way in, is that the date is wrong on all of the slides. The incident was January 29th, 2022, which we know because it was right after midnight, and he put January 30th, 2022. So he's like, okay, this isn't even accurate information because on that date is when the vehicle was in the possession of Mass State Police at the Canton Police Station. He also reiterates again that you never mention the words TextStream event or 1162.1 or 1162.2 in your first report, the report that everyone's been working off in January. This is new information. And he's saying, no, it's not new. It's just kind of reiterated differently for the May 8th report. We go over what he reviewed before the May 8th report. He says that he had reviewed a slide of the 1162.2 TextStream event from Dr. Welcher. He also reviewed the report from Mr. DeSogra and reviewed the report from Ian Whiffen, who was the Celebrate expert that testified a couple weeks back. In those three reports, all of the data says that the TextStream event happened before John O'Keefe's cell phone locked for the last time, and that was at 12:32:09 a.m. Based on everything that we have from John O'Keefe's phone. We learned a little bit more about what a TextStream event is. This is how Lexis captures real-time data from sensors and modules. It doesn't have to be an airbags deployed or collisions. He doesn't know how many different events Lexis has, if it's in the hundreds or what they classify as events, which would be really good information to know, but I feel like that's potentially proprietary. He also says, which is crazy, that he did not review the raw data from TextStream events on Karen Read's vehicle. He only reviewed the information from Dr. Welcher's report. So why wouldn't he review the raw data? That was very weird to me. We also learned that Karen Read only had the Lexus for 8 months. I didn't know that timeline exactly before, but we did know that her vehicle was a 2021. We have Hank Brennan now doing the redirect, trying to undo everything that Alessi has questioned for the past day and a half. And it's a lot. So he says, you didn't lie about this. He shows a copy of the resume. Have you ever lied about this? He says no. When did you update your LinkedIn page? And he was like, oh, that was over 10 years ago. So he is basically trying to undo everything that Alessi has brought up on the first day. So the whole conclusion of the redirect is basically, did the TextStream event on the Lexus SUV and the last user interaction on John O'Keefe's cell phone happen around the same time? And that's a yes. So the Commonwealth is alleging with this timeline that he locked his phone while she was backing up, and then that's when she made contact with him. So Alessi is going to do some recross, and he brings up another case in Texas that Mr. Burgess was working on, and he enters into evidence his CV from there. He says on that, he was actually hired as an accident reconstructionist, but he's no longer working on it. And that's weird because I thought before when we were talking about something else, he said that he doesn't do accident reconstruction work. So the CV is entered into evidence. It doesn't say currently pursuing after like the CV currently does. So in 2021, he was still misrepresenting. But so this trial was happening in 2023, and that would have been to him obvious that he was still pursuing in 2024 was the potential graduation date. And this was actually a trial in federal court too. So Alessi wants to know, did you submit this CV in federal court? And he says he did not submit it, and he also hadn't seen it before, so he doesn't think it was a part of anything that was submitted. Overall, in just my opinion, I lost a lot of interest in listening to what this witness was saying. He is new to this trial. He did not testify the last time. So he had a ton of new information that I wanted to hear that fits into the Commonwealth's theory of the events of that evening. So once I learned that, he was copy pasting things and that he had put the wrong date on things, I thought, okay, maybe he's just kind of careless in his work. And when this work actually comes down to the second, it really does matter. So I did lose interest as a potential juror listening. He ends up being done, which I was actually very surprised that Alessi didn't have a ton of more questions, or Brennan didn't want to reiterate anything else. But that was pretty much the gist of everything at the end there. The next witness is called by Mr. Lally, and her name is Christina Hanley. She testified around day 20 in the last trial too, so like that timeline is kind of lining up. But she works for the Mass State Police in the crime lab. She's a forensic analyst 3 for the Mass State Police. They briefly got into her testimony, so she'll be back tomorrow, but she is testifying about the pieces of evidence she analyzed from the crime scene. This is the clear glass and pieces of glass found on Karen Reed's SUV, like on the bumper that we've seen, and glass and apparent plastic found outside of the home at 34 Fairview. So we will see her on the stand in the morning. That's it.